Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
Eric.
Yeah, today is the 20th of October 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, today is our bi-weekly review, and the topic I would like to talk about is helicopter parents, the first one, and the second is some additional, I think is some amendments of what I said in the topic when uh, our memories in 23 years old. Yep, so how about you?
First one is also helicopter parents. Second is umbilical cord.
Okay,
And the third one, wedding.
okay,
So
all right. Okay, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. Yeah, firstly, Eric, your sounds seems a little bit soft today.
okay.
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Maybe I start first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the first one I want to make a review is about the wedding,
Mm,
and uh, quite coincident. Quite coincident. And yesterday I read the book, Status Syndrome. I read a part which mentioned about it actually compared the mortality rate, which is the death rate
okay.
between the marriage and unmarriage. Yeah, of course. We know. Uh, yeah, you have wedding. It doesn't mean that. I means if you don't want to get wedding, it doesn't mean that you are a marriage. Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to remain single. Yeah, it's not the case. Yeah,
Mm,
but one uh and there's a lot of study and research show that if we compare the mortality rates between a marriage and marriage, we actually can find that mm, unmarried people have a lower mortality rate than I mean the marriage person have lower death rate than a married person in all kind of disease and also in all kind of cause of death. So for
mm,
example, it could be the uh, heart disease, it could be some infections, and it could be the accidents, it could be the
mm,
injury that they will cause the death. Yeah,
yeah.
it also can be the suicide rate at the suicide.
Oh,
Yeah, so
mm,
yeah, and quite interesting. Uh, after the first few research and other scientists and other researchers also try to replicate the same experiments, the
mm,
same statistics. Yeah. So, but some other but some other researcher actually found that if we compare the uh, total number died and he split into like a marriage and marriage, he found that
mm,
actually mm, marriage people the number of people die actually more in marriage people than the unmarried people. And actually the research is wrong because we need to compare the population. And uh, in almost all countries, the populations of married person is much more than a married person. Yeah,
mm,
so
yeah.
if but if so if you look at the total number, total debt, it actually show that marriage person that die more. But it is the analogy is something like the people who have driving license have higher have has higher rate to die in an car accident.
Mm,
So uh it actually is a mistake.
Yeah.
actually is a mistake because if you don't have the driving license, you less likely would drive on the route. Yeah, only people have the driving license. They are able and they can drive on the route. So yeah, of
Yeah.
course, if you talk about car accident, uh, the people who have driving license, of course, have uh, is more likely. If you look at the statistics, is more likely to die in a car accident. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a similar analogy. So, but after they neutralize and after they generalize the populations, and actually the uh it's still true. Yeah, a married person have higher mortality rate than the married person. Yeah. And one of the reasons we discussed in the past, which is the social support. And um, in the past, we actually mentioned about like for example, like the men actually benefits more than women in a marriage, but of course it doesn't mean that women didn't benefit from the marriage. Okay, I just say the men benefit more in the marriage.
Yeah.
And yeah, because after marriage, men have a person who can share with, yeah, who can talk with. So it's also one kind of social support. Also, it actually also like uh written in the book. Yeah, so this is like aligned with my understanding, aligned with my prior learning.
Yeah.
And when we get married, men benefits uh uh the man, yeah, I mean the when we get married, okay, the wife benefit from their men, and also the husband also benefits from their woman. Yeah, so it is kind of like a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some other statistic which is uh I forget what is the disease. If I'm not wrong, is the suicide rate. Okay, and marriage person have 60% lower mortality rate than unmarried men. Yeah. So uh, if you get married and you are 60% less likely for suicide. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also this is for marriage person. So let's say if you divorce and you become like uh the widow. Yeah, the widow, it actually back to a marriage, back to
Oh.
a marriage person.
Yeah.
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 and some other statistic which is, if the woman's I mean the wife, uh, only the wife stay at home all the day. Yeah, most of the time. For example, husband go out to work, and also the last child, or the youngest child also leave the home. So only left the wife stay at the home. Yeah, and this actually uh uh this actually this is worse. Yeah, it's worse, and the mortality rate actually same as the same as the unmarried person. and and for those single mother, and their mortality rate is actually higher than unmarried person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also another study which is another statistic which is, the women go out to work. Yeah, go out to work. Actually, the mortality rate is same as the married person.
Married person. So
So
it
I
means
miss
that.
yeah I miss the marriage woman. Mm. So I miss for the woman, if she go out to work,
Mm.
She go out to work, and her mortality rate is actually same as the 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 marriage person if she don't get married. The
Oh, I
single
see.
woman, the
Mm.
single woman mortality rate is same as the marriage woman.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can think it, another way around. Yeah, and if you get married, your mortality rate is same as those who go work.
Yeah.
And also some other statistic which I will mention uh, in in futures conversation. Yeah,
Mm.
in the topic how we can live longer. And just uh, a very quick sharing is if you have a job, if you have a job, your mortality rate is actually lower than the unemployed person. Yeah, the person
Mm.
who don't have job.
Yeah.
And why we concerned about the housewife? Because uh, do we consider housewife don't have job, or actually they have job? And how about their mortality rate? Yeah.
Mm.
So this is the so this is a statistic. So this is uh, what the statistic trying to say, which is uh, if you if you are a marriage uh, woman and you don't have job, you are the housewife, and your
Yeah.
mortality rate is actually same as the single woman go out to work. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the wedding one. Hmm.
Mm.
Okay,
Yep.
and the next topic. Okay. The next topic I want to make a review is the uh, umbilical uh, cord blood. Okay. And in that conversation, I remember you say that you choose not to say the umbilical cord blood, and you choose to spend spend a similar amount, spend the amount you save from the storing of the cord blood to buy insurance, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. But is this but is this enough for you to buy insurance? How many years you are able to cover the insurance?
Mm. Yeah. I
Mm,
think for the price of storing the umbilical cord in Malaysia is around 6K. Yes, around 6K.
mm,
So yeah, I'm not sure for how much the insurance paid for kids, but I think uh over the years, if you say like 20 years, the insurance cost must be must be higher than the umbilical cord.
yeah.
Mm.
And actually, for child, when they're below 7 or when they're below 12, the insurance premium is actually higher. You know that, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's true because the child have higher uh death rate. Yeah,
Mm.
and the child have higher like the digit rate.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, so the insurance premium is actually higher. And after you, I'm not sure it's past 14 years or past 13 years or even past 16 years old,
Mm.
and your insurance premium will start to drop, and then start to increase when you get older. For
Mm.
example, when you are in middle age. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So if we assume like uh, let's say we put the conservative amount, this is 150. This is very very low. 150 times 12 months, 1008. 1008. If we use 6,000 divided by 1008, so it's only 3.3 years.
Mm.
Our umbilical cords can save. Um, yeah, on official statement, it says it can keep up to 21 years, and but if we play safe, we can only save like 10 to 12 years. Become
Mm.
half. So this is less. Yeah, this is far less than uh than enough, right?
Yep.
The saving of storing the umbilical cord blood to buy insurance. Mm, yeah.
Yep.
Mm. Yeah. So by knowing that, by a by aware that, uh, would you change your mind?
Yeah, I think we also need to consider like that day we mentioned that even though we store the cord blood, but how about the medical bills? It's still a problem. It's like you spend 6,000 and then uh, you still have to deal with the medical bills. Then that's also a cost, something like it could be an unexpected cost to us. So uh, um, yeah, if you go for an insurance, yeah, maybe your cost will be kind of uh, fixed, and then uh, you can you can did your budget, and then if anything happens, then your insurance may be able to cover it.
Mm, yeah, but you are doing substitution. Why not you do both?
Hmm.
Mm. For
Yep.
example, you buy insurance, but if there is no umbilical cord blood and your child may die, so now you have, because you have stored the umbilical cord blood, so your child have higher chance to get well.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yep. And then this actually go back to one thing that you care, which is like how much savings do I have before I want to have a child, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if we do well in that part, and then I believe that keeping the umbilical cord uh, is something good if you are not struggling with the cost.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite interesting because recently I have some similar thoughts, but it is totally opposite with your statement just now, and
Oh,
this is something like, to become financial independent. This is not easy. This is very very difficult. The
mm,
first reason is you need to tolerate a lot of things in your life. You need to sacrifice a lot of things in your life. You
yeah,
can you need to find a suboptimal solution to deal with your daily life. For example, you want to eat delicious foods, but you know that you can't cook a very delicious food. So you eat outside.
mm,
Yeah. So you eat outside is convenient, it's
yeah,
delicious. But how about healthy? And but how about the cost? And you say, yeah, eat outside can also be healthy. Yeah, I can also choose the healthy food to eat and also delicious. Yeah, it's true, but how about the cost? The cost
mm,
will be very, very high.
yep,
And if you want to save costs, if you want, let's say you want to achieve, uh, you want to become financial independence earlier, you want to retire earlier, and you don't have a rich dad, you don't have a rich mom, so you really need to cut your spending.
mm, yep,
This is a most important uh step you need to do. And so you need to cook by your own. You cook by your own, and you need to bear with the taste. Yeah, maybe uh you already like get too bored with your cooking. Yeah,
mm, yep,
and you can't. And so this is something you need to sacrifice.
mm, mm,
And also, uh, you can, yeah, of course, you can improve your cooking skill. It takes time to learn. Yeah, and also, how about the time of preparations, of the meal? This is
yep,
also another thing. Yeah, you need, and you say you are too tired after you come back home, but you still need to cook.
mm,
Yeah, so a lot of things you need to sacrifice
yep,
in order to save money. And how about car? You can say, yeah, if we have if we have a lot of saving, we actually can enjoy our life better. We don't need to buy a manual car. We can buy automatic car.
mm,
So our life will be more relaxed.
Yeah.
when we are driving. Yeah, it's true. It's totally true. And if everyone have few $100 million, who who wouldn't want to own a Tesla, right?
Mm. Yeah.
The car which can drive automatically, no involve don't need you to to really pay 100% attention focus on the driving. Who don't
Yeah.
want that? Yeah, we like that. We want that. But do we need that? No, we don't need that. Mm. And the similar is the umbilical cord blood. Mm. So yeah, you can think in this way. You say when you have enough saving, when you have enough budget, when you have uh, when you achieve financially when you achieve financial independence, you are able to spend the money on these things. But if you try to add up all of these things together, maybe you need another million or 2 million
Mm.
in order to
Yep.
financial independence. Mm, yeah. Mm, yeah. So this is my thought. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep.
I have finished uh the topic sharing. Mm.
Mm. Yeah, but why would you say that my statement will be like opposite to your current thought? Do you
Because you
mean
say
that? Yeah.
because you say if you have enough saving or if you have achieved like the financial independence,
Mm.
uh, s- spending on these small tasks, spending on these and storing the umbilical cord blood is totally wood, right?
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, so you
yeah,
think maybe achieving that is kind of impossible?
yeah. The first thing is how much money do you need to retire? You need to retire if you if you consider yourself after achieve financial independence, you can afford all of these tasks, all of these things. For
Uh,
example,
mm.
the same analogy is, for example, you say that I will pay you now you lend me one now you lend me like $10,000. I will pay you back within within 200 years.
Mm.
Mm. So the statement is something like that. Yeah, you say you will spend you will spend the cost on umbilical cord blood when you achieve financially independent. When you achieve when you achieve financial independence. But if you try to add up all these costs, automatic car, uh, convenient and delicious foods, and decorations, and owning a house, and living in cities, and all of these things. Yeah, if you combine all of these things and uh, send your child to private school,
Yeah.
yeah, all the wants, not the need. How much money you really need to achieve financial independence?
Mm.
So the amount is, I mean, uh, the amount to financially independent is no longer the same amount you have in your mind. For example, uh, be, uh, a few months ago, yeah, not few months, it's actually a lot of months ago, we actually have a few conversations about, I'm not sure it's budget or the 5 year ones, and we actually try to calculate how much money you need to
Mm-mm.
retire, right? And
Yep.
we actually like kind of like calculate our monthly expenses, and we analyze that with times 12 months, and then some people is like 2000 or 2005, and I remember your one is around 4,000, if I'm not wrong, or 3,000. Yeah, I think your one is 3,000, if I'm not wrong. And Wait a minute. Uh, yeah. No. I remember last time your amount is 4,000. Yeah, correct. 4,000. And because at that time I remember we used 4% interest rate, and 4,000 times 12 months is 48,000. And I remember last time you say you need around 1.2 million in order to retire, and my amount is around 900K. Yeah, and yeah, uh so let's say you need 4,000 per month in order to retire, in order to cover your cost of living and your expected future cost of living.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe after you get married, maybe when you have a house, like maybe you have another car. So you try to include all this and you get the 4,000 amount. And how about now, if you want to consider decoration, if you want to consider other things, umbilical cord blood.
Mm.
So the expense you want to consider your child insurance.
Mm.
Yeah, so the cost is actually increased, you know.
Yes.
So the initial amount you think you are able to retire, which is 1.2 million. But if you try to consider all these things, it's no longer 1.2 million.
Mm.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
1.5, 1.8, or 2 million. So this is not standing on uh, the same standard to think to discuss the same thing. Yeah.
Mm.
So because you say after you achieve financial independence, and your definition, the definition of financial independence you say out at that moment is no longer 1.2 million, it's
Yeah.
2 million, it's 3 million. But actually, you may not aware that. You may not aware that. You still think the financial independence is still 1.2 million. But even though you have 1.2 million, you still can't afford this thing.
Mm.
So I'm not sure whether you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And then yeah, you're right. And then um, to me, I think uh, for this case, it can partially link to previously we had a topic. I forgot the terms. It is like our spending inflate, our spending. How to say? Do you remember?
Lifestyle inflation,
Ah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, something like that.
Mm,
Yeah. So we can also relate to it, right? For
mm.
example, you have a kid, and then uh, you feel like you want to get better. Maybe you buy insurance for them. You want them better. Maybe you send them to a better school. You want them,
Attend some special course.
mm, yeah, you want them better. Maybe you buy supplements for them.
Mm.
Yeah, add up, it can be many. And then, yeah, I think this is something like the the inflation of our lifestyle.
And actually, it's not the inflation of your lifestyle. You just want your kids live better, live healthier, live happier, and you give them all these things. But how much you give yourself? Not much. Actually, a lot of parents are like that. Mm. Even though you look at our parents' generation, they also the same. They send the child
Mm,
to the tuition center to the like learn the piano, learn the guitar, learn a lot of course,
yeah.
learns uh yeah, learn many things, but end up they leave nothing to themselves. And do the child really like the course? Yeah.
Mm,
And maybe after 5 years when they graduate, when they acting when they graduate from college, they forget all of those things. And all of
mm,
those things uh yeah, it's no contribution to their life actually.
mm, yeah, yeah. So, all right. So, what can this be? Can it be some underestimation?
Yeah, so you need to think about what kind of life you want. Yeah, so if you want like to keep your child a lot better, like your parents give, like our parent generation give us attend a lot of tuitions and go attend a lot of course, and if they want to play game can afford, if they want the toys because their friends in the school also have, you also need to give them, you need to provide them. You don't want the teacher, the friends,
Yeah.
your child friends and also your child's friends, parents think that your family is poor, can't even afford to buy a toys to your child, and
Mm.
you
Yep.
want to send your child to private school because you think this is a better education. You're afraid your child being bullied in public school. You're afraid your child couldn't learn well because the teacher quality in public school. You worry a lot of things.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're trying to use money to solve it, then you need more money. This is a very
Yeah.
simple equation. If you're trying to use other thing to solve except money, then you don't require a lot of money, but you require a lot of other resources. For example, time, for example, energy, effort.
Efforts. Yeah.
Yeah. So think what kind of life you want and recalculate your retirement amount. For
Mm.
example, you think you really don't want to cook. Yeah. So that means you need to pay the meal expenses, which is eat outside. Yeah, the eating out expenses, and you need to calculate an inflation rate. Yeah, and then so uh, by by uh, by sum up the amount, and uh, and then you will found that yeah, it actually is a very big expenses, and
Mm.
it actually end up you need a lot more amount in order to retire.
Mm.
Yeah, try to give you uh try to give you a rough sense, which is um okay, around 1,000. If around 1,000, if we if we exclude the inflations, 1,000, which is uh, sorry let me get an amount that I still remember the total value. Okay, let's say we try to use 300. Okay, if every month you need to incur an additional 300 expenses, you need around uh 60K. You need around 60K to 80K in order to generate the investment income, the passive income of 300 per month. How to
Mm.
calculate? For example, you use 300 uh, times 12 months, 3,600. So 3,600 divided by the rate. You think you are able to achieve, you are able to get the
Mm.
return rate
Yeah.
after you retire. Because after you retire, you cannot keep pursuing the high risk investment. You need to like uh
Go safe.
yeah, you need to play safe, and you need to, there's a technical term I forget already, which is come back your risk curve, something like that.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm.
And when you are achieving retirement, yeah, you can pursue the risk curve. You can allocate your asset to a higher risk asset. But now if you already get retired, you need to allocate your asset back to the risk curve. You need to invest in the riskless asset. So if we play safe, we use 4%. Yeah, so you need 90K. If we use 5%, you need 72K. Yeah, so that means only 300, an additional 300 expenses. You need to accumulate 72,000, additional 72,000 in
Mm.
order to retire. Yeah, and we didn't calculate the inflation. Yeah, and inflation is it's kind of like that. Yeah, for detailed calculation, I think in future we still have one topic about the budgeting. Yeah,
Okay.
and we can discuss the detail. We can go through the calculation in that conversation. But now I want to give you a rough sense, which is
Mm.
if let's say your money expenses is around 2,200 to 2,500 per month,
Yeah.
and then 1% inflation rate equal 100K, equal 100K. Depend how remaining year you still have. If
Mm.
you kind of like below 30 years, yeah. So 1% interest rate equal 100K. So that means if you're trying to retire below 30 years old, and if the expected inflation rate is is 1% more, then you need to accumulate 100K more in order
Wow.
to retire to retire safely.
Mm-mm.
1%, and with 2,500 expenses per month, 1% inflation rate equal 100K. I mean in the total value.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's all my sharing.
Okay. Yep. And then for my sharing, I think yeah, I talk about some amendment first, which is just a little. And then when I was 23, and I said that my grandmother passed away, and then before she passed away, and then we sent her to something like the care center, right? And then the expenses, yeah, I think I make it wrongly, and the expenses is actually very very expensive. It's like two thousand plus, yeah,
What?
and yeah, yeah, 2000 plus, and it's very expensive. I mean monthly, and then you can also check it online on a few caring centers, and you can get a few hundred, like 900, if they just stay in the place and don't need any uh, other people maybe assist them for anything. Yeah, they just live there, and then they don't need any treatments. They don't need any help. They just get the. I'm not sure whether food is included. Yeah, you just live there, and then you get a bed, and then you get food. You already need 900. Yeah, this is the cheapest I can found in Johor Bahru. And then if you need some helps, maybe you couldn't walk, maybe you need to lie on the bed, you need other people to help you to maybe to get a shower or something like that, then it must be something like more than 1,500, maybe uh, even more than 2 or 3,000.
Mm.
Yep. So yeah, that day I say the expensive is like few hundred, so that isn't correct. And then yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah, and also it's also a choice, right? And uh, go back to the financial retirements uh part. If you want, if you want to like save your elder parents, yeah. So it's also an expenses. Mm.
Mm.
So if you want to include this into your into your plan, then you also need additional more money. Yeah, much
Yeah.
more money in order to retire. Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then yeah, go to the second topic, which is the helicopter parents, and then yeah, for this one, yeah, what I want to say today is actually that day I have a few questions because the time is running out, so I didn't include on that day. And yeah, today yeah, maybe we can discuss a little bit, and that day also you give some very good suggestions, and also mention one of the principle which can be useful, which is can we still be ourselves when we are nurturing our children. Yep, and then also you have your something like your parenting model, which is uh, teaching, forcing, and supporting these three categories, right?
Mm.
And then so how about if we say that we face some challenge when nurturing our child, for example, uh, one of the most challenging things for parents is when their children are around 15, and then we say this is something like a
Rebellious spirit.
rebellious, yeah,
Mm.
rebellious streak. Yeah,
Mm.
and then to so for this one, do you think that by maybe teaching them when since they are young, and then maybe cultivating the relationship with them since they are young, and then we can kind of avoid this, or we can kind of deal with this rebellious streak better. And also, if they do have the rebellious streak, let's say for a few years, like 15 to 18, so what kind of strategies can be used, like teaching, forcing, or supporting? Which one does this lie into?
Okay. Do you have rebellious period?
As for me, I think I had, but I didn't do anything. I just like don't like them. I just like to talk back to them, and then maybe just don't listen to them. Like to do my own thing, and then like to hanging out with my friends, and then don't want to stay home. Yeah, a little.
Yeah, but why not you still do the same thing when you are uh when you pass the rebellious period?
Um.
Because it looks stupid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can think in another way around. Is the rebellious period is actually, yeah, because at that time they are still child, and
Mm-mm.
uh they couldn't think rationally, and they actually experience a real pain, just like a lot of adults. They realize the pricing keep increasing. There's an inflation rate. They can't even uh, maybe some of them don't know the term. What is inflation? In Chinese, they call 通货膨胀. They have never heard they have never heard this term before, or maybe they heard the terms, but
Mm.
they don't know what is the meaning. But what they know is they know the price is rising. They know their life become tougher and tougher. Their wages didn't increase. The price keep increasing. Yeah. So this is a similar thing. You experience the real pain, but you didn't aware what is the causes. Yeah. So it end up you want to object something, but
Yeah.
you don't know what to object. Mm. And the, the kids who are in the rebellious periods, they are not thoughtful. Okay, they are not thoughtful, and they know, and uh um they actually experience the real pain, which is all uh the parents and the teacher, the adult tell them need to study hard in order to get a good mark.
Mm.
Yeah, all that, and they found that the life is so boring. It's no meaning. Why they need to do this thing? Yeah, why can't I hang out with my friends?
Yeah.
Why can't I do the thing I want to do?
Mm.
Yeah, and back to the same example that I mentioned in that day, if an adult want to do the thing, want to make decision for themselves. For example, I don't want to work as a manager in my father company. I want to become a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. And nobody will reject, nobody will say your decision is wrong or something. Maybe they will say, but they will accept your decision because they think you're an adult. But how about a kid? They say I want to drawing. Yeah, I like drawing. So but you don't allow me to do. Yeah, you say you allow, you say, but what is your talking? What is your saying is, yeah, you want to draw can, but you need to get better. You need to get better result. You need to pass the exam. If you pass the exam, how much time you want to spend in drawing? I don't care. Yeah, but what is in their mind is, if they really spend the time in the academic in order to pass, they will consume all of their time. They have
Mm.
no time to do the real thing they want to do in their
Yeah.
life, and they slowly become the adult they don't want to be, and the adult you don't want them to be just like you.
Mm.
Yeah. What is your ambition? If you ask an adult, they will tell you, I'm not a singer. Yeah, I'm not on stage. So and and I don't want to become insurance agent, so don't ask me what is my ambition. Yeah, but it's actually is a very important question to ourselves, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. And yeah, before the rising, before the popular of this question, uh, before insurance agent, before uh, uh, means before TV program, the host of the TV program start to use this kind of sentence. Before that,
Mm.
if you try to ask an adult what is your ambition, they still can't answer you. Mm, they can't answer you.
Yeah.
But when you are still a child, if we ask you what is your ambition, you can answer. Mm, yeah. So go back to the rebellious periods. If 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 they are able to think, if they know there is a problem, for example, inflation, they know economics, they know there's a problem, they know how to solve it, they know how to deal with it. Yeah. So for the kids, if they know that studying is not the only way to live, yeah, to live better, to become adults, and they wouldn't have that strong uh uh they I mean they wouldn't behave strong. They won't behave that strong in rebellious period. Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Yep. So it
And
is
not,
something like they are more mature mentally, right?
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And also, what if your child have the rebellious periods? Then accept it. Yeah, nothing serious, because a lot of child also had that. A lot of child also had that periods, and after sometimes when they really do the self reflection, and they and they realize that, yeah, this is something really stupid, and they will quit. Yeah, they'll go back to the right directions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And then
And also
mm.
another thing is uh about the principle. Yeah,
Yeah.
you still need to be yourself when your child are in the rebellious period. You can do whatever you want to do. Now, even though they are your child, and but they are another person. You are the more important one. You still need to be yourself. If you like to teach them, you want to support them, you want to force them, you just do that. Yeah. And a lot of parents have the mindset that they want their children become better. But if you try to insert this mind, if you try to have this kind of attitude, do you think your child don't know? And this is a huge stress, you know. In
Mm.
Chinese we call 望子成龙. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something like the parents hope their child become better. Yeah. Become maybe very rich, or
Mm.
become to have a decent job, to to get a good wife,
Yeah.
a lot of money, have a house, have a car, and 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 give birth the grandchildren for me, something like that.
Mm.
Yeah. And do you know how much stress it is? Mm.
Yeah.
And you say you want them, this is for this is for their good. Yeah. This is, yeah, you want them, you want them good, and what everything you do is for them, but they don't buy it, they don't want it.
Mm.
Yeah. Please don't manipulate my life. This is what what is in their mind.
Mm.
uh, 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 sorry, please don't manipulate my life. Yeah, this is what in their mind.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So yeah, actually there's also one of the the things that I would like to talk about, which is I heard people say that um, sometimes when we talk about parenting and then treating our child as others' child uh, is maybe on in some aspect it is a kind of a good thing.
Mm,
So
yeah.
um, uh, yeah, so for this one, maybe just a little like let them let them to be kind of independent, and then we don't we also don't like give them so much stress and pressure that you mentioned just now, and then want to manipulate them, right?
Mm, yeah, and
Mm.
also, uh, this is also same in a romantic relationship. Yeah, and if you try to get a girls, and what you shouldn't do is keep treating her good. Yeah, and keep giving her gift, and even though she's still not your girlfriend, but you keep imagining, you keep thinking that she's your girlfriend, and you and yeah, and what you need to do is trick them, trick them just as your friends, just as your normal friend.
Mm.
For example, will you do this? Will you do this for your best friend? For example, they want to borrow money. Hmm. Will you lend them the money? Try to imagine if your best friend say to you, can you borrow me like $1,000, and would you lend them the money? And if you won't lend them the money, don't lend them to the new girl.
Mm.
Mm. If you won't do that, if you won't do the particular task that you won't do on your best friend, don't do that. It doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is also another form of be yourself. Mm.
Mm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So anything else about regard this?
Yeah, I think one more. One more is the that day we talk about. You asked me a question like, will you, if I have a child, will I send my child to independent school or the government school? And then, yeah, I think somehow like for the academic part, independent school will have more stress on this, and then uh, they will have to study harder uh, in order to like get to another grade. And then for government school, maybe the stress will be lower for this part. And then, but when talk about environment, um, I think somehow private school has a better environment. And then this is something that can affect them quite a lot because they spend many years, let's say for secondary school, 6 years in there. And
How
then,
how the environment can help you, can help the child.
um,
You used to study in private school, and
mhm.
one of our friends, uh, who are is an insurance agent.
Yeah,
Nowadays, he also he also in the private school previously, right?
yeah, yeah.
Mm. So yeah, of course, I know this is a small sample size.
Mm,
But I just want to say that there's no relationship, there's no correlation uh between these. Yeah, of course, the environment may help you, but is it really? Do you really benefit from the environment? If you look back nowadays, what did you learn from that?
um, yeah, I couldn't say.
Yeah. So this is the same question I asked you before. I asked you what did you learn from your secondary school, and you can't answer.
Mm,
Mm. But I learned many things in my secondary school.
mm,
Mm. And when we go to college, and also it doesn't mean that the students who can score straight A in SPM in secondary school
yeah.
definitely will become the top student in the college. No such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing. I'm the exception.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, really, I think there's still bias here for me
Mm.
to look into comparing the so-called environment.
Yeah.
Mm, yep. Yeah, but then if look at your case, you said that you previously there is a period like 1 or 2 years you play games a lot and then didn't do anything else other than playing, right? And then but after that you did manage to uh, get over it and then
Yeah.
like to find out the meaning of your life to but actually that is not something like uh, you get something from your parents and or your parents control you. You did it all on your own. So uh, so what is the insight for this? So that means that sometimes without the parents' interference, then uh, we as a kid or as a child, they they can grow themselves, right? They can learn by themselves.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, but if you try to get the enough sample size, you'll find that the parents who don't take care of their child will become worse. If you look enough sample size. So do you
Mm.
get what I mean?
So for your case, what is the things that make you different?
Mm, I think there are few things my parents did it very right, and
Mm.
I'm very grateful uh, for them. The first is um they won't give me money to buy things. If I want to buy a certain
Mm.
thing, for example, mobile phones, for
Yeah.
example, computer, for example, Game Boy, for example, the disc of the Game Boy and the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. Yeah, I actually own a lot of this kind of electronic device when
Yeah.
I was still young. And all of those things is actually bought by myself. Yeah,
Mm.
all of them is bought by myself. And so the attitude is very straight. Okay, it's very straight, and they didn't force you, and they will just say we don't have money, and if you want to buy, you save the money for yourself. Yeah, it's very easy.
So
Yeah,
did you hate them at that time?
maybe initially yes. Yeah, but after some I forget whether I used to hate them or not. But
Mm,
I think it should be yes. The answer should be yes. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Just like the parents need to force their child to do something. Yeah, their child may hate them.
mm,
Yeah, but after a few years, their child will grateful for that. Yeah.
mm, yeah.
So I think this is a very very right thing my parents did on me. Yeah.
Mm,
So um, it made me form the saving habits when I'm still young. Yeah.
mm,
And if you look about the money management for the uh, I mean, in my humble opinion, in my very very humble opinion, because I'm not expert, I'm still figuring the way. But what I saw is the first thing is you realize that you need to save money, and then you cut your spending. So you know how to manage your spending. You have a right attitude, you have a right behavior. Uh, so it actually form your spending habits. Yeah, and also form your spending mindset. And and of course you initially you just want to save the money in order to buy the thing you want to buy.
mm,
Yeah, but after sometimes you may feel that the thing I pay on, no matter it's time, no matter it's energy, effort, or money, the resources you pay in, you didn't get really good thing back. Yeah, just like I spent a lot of time playing the game, but it
yeah.
didn't reward me as I want, as I desire. So
Mm,
you will start to think, yeah, whether I should allocate my time, my energy, my money, my efforts in other place that can really reward me in long run. When you start to have the long run mindset, and this is the first step to become mature. And actually, I have wrote an article which is how to teach your child in Chinese version, yeah, on my blogger, and I
mm,
also share it on my Facebook. Yeah, and in the article, I also mentioned about the long term mindset. This is very important. Yeah,
mm,
yeah. So about the money management, first you need to realize that you need to save money in order to buy the thing you want, and
yeah.
you will control your spending habit. And then the next you will start to consider about the CP ratio, which is the cost and performance ratio. I start to think about it when I was uh secondary 5 or secondary 6.
Mm,
Yeah, and no, I actually start to considering when I was secondary 3. When I'm searching the phones that I want to buy for myself,
mm,
I I um I get the terms which is CP ratio. Yeah, in Chinese we call 性价比. So which is the ma the money you spend is this um the money you spend, the additional money you spend in order let me rephrase, the additional money you spend is would uh to get the additional features. Yeah,
mm,
or the additional features of the phone, is it worth the money?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a CP ratio, cost performance ratio. This is the term uh, I learned when I'm buying a very very expensive phone for myself. Yeah,
Mm,
um at that time I still haven't uh get the mindset to spend my money right, to spend my money well properly in the right place. I still buy a very expensive phone. Yeah, I came across the terms, and after 1 year and after 2 years, the terms start to change me. Yeah, I can start to applying the cost performance ratio uh, in my in my other aspect. Yeah, in my life. Yeah,
mm,
so I start to yeah, after some time you will really know what you want in your life. and you know you want to save money. You can control your spending. You need to control your spending habit, and all of these things you already have the uh you already have the foundation. You don't need to build it start from scratch. You already have the foundation.
Mm.
You know how to save money. You have successfully done that in the past. You know how to control your spending.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is also something you have did in the past, and you know how to compare. Yeah, you know how to search a cheaper product, because when when you save the money, this is like the in Chinese we call this is the sweat and blood money, 血汗
Mm.
钱. This is
Yeah.
the hard money for you to earn, and you want to buy the product at better quality at cheaper price. Yeah, the product you really want to buy, a smartphone, let's say for example. Yeah,
Mm.
or maybe a game disc. Yeah, in our generation, a game disc. Maybe nowadays for the child, for the kids nowadays is it's the game application. Mm. Of the item of the skin in the game. They need to figure out they only have, let's say, 100 ringgit. Whether to spend the 100 ringgit on the skin or on another weapon, on another
Mm.
hero, something like that. They need to figure out by themselves. Yeah, they make the decision by themselves. And so slowly you form the decision making. Yeah. So you have all this foundation. And after some time you start to realize that, wow, there is something that I really want to achieve in my life. So you have all this foundation, it can help you in the long run. So and also after some time you learn that you can only be rich if you do investment. If you start to do investment. If you
Mm.
don't do investment, you can't be rich forever. Yeah, you can't be wealthy. Sorry, it's not rich. You can't be a wealthy uh person. Yeah. So by that time, you just go for the investment. Investment have a lot of things to learn. Yeah, have ton of things to learn. And but you have all the foundation. You can save money. You can use your saving to put into the investment. But for other people, when they start to learn investment, they still don't have a good spending habit. They still can't save money. Yeah, they
Yes.
still can't figure out how to make the right decision. They still keep buying the expensive product at the inferior quality.
Mm.
How can they compete with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, actually, this is something that I agree. And also, the first time that I heard uh, people can say that like the spending in the games can actually educate them in a good way. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the I mean, the main concept is they make decision for themselves.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
they figure out by themselves.
Yeah. And then they have to use their own money, so they will have the feeling like um, to spend it wisely, right?
Mm.
If they can get money from their parents, maybe they want a better product. They keep persuading their parents instead of focus on maybe like the CP ratio that you mentioned just now.
And I also mentioned this in my article, and actually I recommend you to read the article. I mentioned that this is a game theory, even though the child don't know the game theory, but they will act like that. Mm. They will
Mm.
try to please you. They will cry. Yeah, yeah. They will scold you. They will like uh kind of like frighten you. If you don't buy this for me, I will fail the exam next time. Something like that. I'll
Yeah.
get the last place. Mm. So yeah, but after this is a game theory, but after sometimes they realize that by doing that, nothing will change. They can only figure out, they can only find another solution by themselves.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep.
Okay, and for the helicopter parents part, I have something want to add in. Okay.
Okay.
Um, but because I don't have because we don't have a lot of time already, I leave
Mm.
it the questions. I leave it a question. We talk about we need to teach them. We need to We need to force them. We need to support them. But how to help them? Yeah, how to help them? For example, let's say how to teach them, how to support them. Yeah, we focus about the support. For example, if your child really like drawing, how to support them? For example, if your child want to do a startup, want to do a business, how do you support them? Do you have the resources? How to get the resources? Let's say your child want to become doctor or want to become lawyer. How do you help them? Do you, will you try to find some friends, which is the doctor, which is the lawyer, and bring your child to the clinic, to your friend's clinic, to your friend's lawyer firm, and let them become like the internship work there, and take no salary even though when they are still a child, let's say 13 years old, 14 years old, they still can do that. Yeah, it didn't violate law because they didn't get a pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you have the resources to help them? Or maybe your let's say your child want to become doctor, or your child want to become lawyer. Let's say lawyer, your child want to become lawyer, and you let your child go to your friend's lawyer firm and experience the life when they are still very young. And scenario one, they realize that this is what they want, so they'll work harder. Yeah. Scenario two, they know this is not something that they want. They will find another thing. Yeah. If you don't have the resources, what they will do, they will keep thinking that I want to be lawyer, I want to be lawyer. And when they are in college and they study the lawyer and they found that it's very, very difficult, I don't want already. I don't want this thing already. And they will change the subject. And you can see a lot of parents actually feel frustration, which their child keep changing the subject in college life, and it spend ton of money.
Yeah.
And it delay the part, the study part, and also the career part. Yeah.
Yep.
Or maybe after they graduate, they will tell you that, yeah, this is not something that I want. Yeah, I spent 3 years time to study, and and my parents spend a lot of money to let me study, and I get the certificates, but end up I don't like the work. I don't like this kind of work. I look for other job. But what if you can provide the resources? Yeah. For example, lawyer, for example, accountant. Your child want to become an accountant. You send them to an accounting firm before they go into college, or even though when they are still in secondaries. Yeah. So it actually can let them know, can let them figure out whether this is the thing they really want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that actually this is something that I really hope uh, the education fair and also uh, our country can do that. And I also hope somebody can do this on me when when I'm choosing the college. I hope somebody can let me to experience the life.
Yeah.
Working.
Experience.
Yeah. To work as a job, to work in the career that you want to study. Before you're going into the college. I hope that, yeah, but no one done for me. And nowadays, few years pass, also nobody start to doing this.
Yep. And then we also talk about this right before. Something that we couldn't help them. They have to experience by themselves. So like
But
just
this,
now
but this is
example.
some, but this is something that you should help them. You should provide
Yeah.
the resources.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. This is what I want to say. Like the just now you say when they are like 13 or 14, and then they have this kind of let's say ambition or passion on something. when it is related to occupation, to jobs, and then what we can do is provide the resources. Um, it is not, it cannot be taught by just telling them, right?
Mm,
Telling them being a lawyer, it is whether it is good or it is bad, what will it be? They somehow couldn't experience by just hearing people say. They have to really go into it, right?
mm,
Just like the relationship, they have to, if they get our support, our encouragement, they go into a relationship, only then they can learn something, right?
mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and also go back to the statistic I mentioned in the beginning of the conversation. Yeah,
Yeah.
marriage person have lower mortality rate than unmarried person.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you should let your child go to form the relationship, start to learn when they are still young.
Mm.
60% higher rate to a 60 higher percent death rate. If you really want to save your child's life, this is something that you can do instead of storing the umbilical cord blood.
Mm.
Think
Yeah,
all
yeah.
together, yeah. Uh, mm,
Mm.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else want to add in?
No.
Okay, so that's all for our today conversations. Please tell what you think of our conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake we made, please also comment to let us know because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like and subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.